You got driving the kid. You got a dog in the street. I'm make it. You better not do it.
Accused of killing his pregnant girlfriend is not getting out of jail anytime soon. He's facing new charges tonight. According to the Bladen County Sheriff's app, Niji Lee is accused of murder of an unborn child, firing a weapon into an occupied area, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and felony car theft.
What mistake could a mother make? A mistake so big that it would cost her life. And the life of her unborn baby. It's a sad question. And on the night of June 4th, 2024, in the small town of Regalwood, North Carolina, it became real. Regalwood is a quiet place. Families live there for years. People trust each other. Kids play outside. Doors are left unlocked. But that night, everything changed. As the sun went down, the streets got quiet. Then, sirens filled the air. Red and blue lights flashed through the trees as police and paramedics rushed to a small house with blue shutters. Inside the house, they found something heartbreaking. Bolivia Monnique Williams, just 33 years old, was lying still on the living room floor. She had been shot many times. Bolivia was 6 months pregnant. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't save her or her baby. Bolivia was a mother of 5. She was loved by her family and friends. She had plans, hopes, and dreams. But in one terrible moment, everything was taken away. Soon, police would learn something even worse. This was no accident. It didn't come out of nowhere. Bolivia's death was the final step in a story that had been building for months. A story of broken trust, missed warnings, and danger getting closer every day. Tonight, we piece together the choices, the warning signs, and the fatal mistake that ended the life of Bolivia Monnique Williams and the child she would never hold. Bolivia Monnique Williams was born on March 10, 1991, in Columbus County, North Carolina. She grew up in a close family, raised by her parents Peggy Blanks and Michael Williams, who taught her the importance of hard work, kindness, and never giving up. As a little girl, Bolivia loved music. She would dance anytime a song played, her bright smile lighting up every room. Friends and family remember her as someone who made everyone feel special, someone whose kindness could brighten even the darkest day. After high school, Bolivia attended Southeastern Community College, where teachers praised her focus, creativity, and warm heart. In her free time, she dreamed of starting her own business, sketching ideas and making friendship bracelets for others. After graduating, she made that dream real, selling handmade decorations and hosting weekend events in her backyard. Her Instagram showed a life full of color and love, family gatherings, homemade crafts, and her growing family. Even as a single mother of 5, Bolivia handled everything, waking up early for school runs, working odd jobs, and tucking her children into bed each night, all with tireless love and devotion. In early 2023, Bolivia met 31-year-old Niji Devon Leech at a neighborhood gathering. At first, he seemed like a blessing. He praised her parenting skills, helped with groceries, gave rides, and even covered a few bills when money was tight. Within 3 months, they were a couple. To Bolivia's friends and family, it seemed like she had finally found someone who understood her busy, challenging life. Someone who could share the load she had carried alone for so long. But behind Niji's smile, a darker side was hiding. A side that would soon turn Bolivia's happy world into a nightmare. By the fall of 2023, Bolivia and Niji found out they were expecting a baby together. The news brought a mix of excitement and worry. A 6th child meant the house would feel even smaller and money would be tighter. But Bolivia was filled with hope. She painted a corner of the dining room sky blue, sorted tiny clothes into neat piles, and spent nights scrolling online for name ideas. She chose the name Isaiah James long before he arrived. On May 19, 2024, the family and some close friends gathered in Bolivia's backyard for a small gender reveal party. Blue confetti filled the warm evening air, and a simple cake announced, "It's a boy." Bolivia glowed with happiness as her loved ones hugged her. But not everyone looked as joyful. Some guests noticed Niji standing off to the side, his smile stiff, his eyes distant. Bolivia didn't think much of it. She told herself he was just nervous about being a father again. She didn't know that would be the last happy moment in that home. Within weeks, everything changed. On a quiet June night, gunfire broke the silence on Dixon Road. A neighbor 2 houses away heard 4 quick pops, then nothing. She called 911, her voice shaking as she said, "I think someone got shot next door." 3 minutes later, another call came from Bolivia's 12-year-old son. "They shot my mom," he cried into the phone. Deputies arrived at 8:41 p.m. and rushed into the house with the blue shutters. Inside, they found Bolivia lying on the living room floor. Her breathing was weak. Her unborn baby boy was still inside her. Her 2 oldest children, just 12 and 10 years old, knelt by her side, trying to stop the bleeding with cloths. Paramedics reached her at 8:44 p.m., quickly lifting her onto a stretcher and rushing her and the baby to Columbus Regional Healthcare System. Inside the home, investigators started looking for answers. They found 5 empty 9mm shell casings scattered on the carpet. Blood had pooled in a dark stain under the coffee table and sprayed across family photos on the mantel. 2 dinner plates were still sitting untouched on the kitchen table. A broken picture frame lay shattered on the floor, mixed with crumbs from the blue frosted cake they had shared just weeks before. Bolivia's purse was left open on the counter, with cash still inside. But one thing was missing: her car keys. From the start, detectives believed the killer was someone Bolivia knew. There were no signs of forced entry at the door, no broken windows, and no strange footprints inside the house. Neighbors, friends, and family were interviewed one by one. A neighbor said she heard shouting around 8:20 p.m., then gunshots a few minutes later. Another neighbor reported seeing a black sedan pull up around 7:15 p.m. and later drive away around 8:40 p.m. That black sedan turned out to be Bolivia's own gold 2006 Subaru Forester. Within an hour, police issued a BOLO, a Be on the Lookout alert, for both Niji Devon Leech and the stolen car. Patrol cars spread across counties, and border agents were warned in case he tried to flee the state. Investigators quickly found more clues. Doorbell camera footage from a nearby house showed a man who matched Niji's size and walk arriving at 7:15 p.m., and then later getting into the driver's seat around 7:45 p.m., looking back at the house before driving away. Phone records showed calls between Bolivia and Niji earlier that day, but after the shooting, Niji's phone pinged near the county line at 8:50 p.m. His old phone was later found in a ditch, but it had been wiped clean. Traffic cameras caught the stolen Subaru running a red light at 8:43 p.m. without a license plate. Later, surveillance cameras at a 24-hour store recorded Niji buying drinks and a prepaid phone. In the bathroom, he cut off his long dreadlocks, threw them away in separate trash cans, and changed his clothes to hide his identity. By dawn, police had expanded the manhunt. Checkpoints were set up, K9 units searched the woods, and neighbors were warned to stay alert. Later that morning, a store clerk in Brunswick County spotted Niji, recognizing him despite his new look. The clerk noticed his posture and the way he kept adjusting his hat. He also spotted the stolen Subaru and quickly called police. Bank records showed Niji had tried to pull cash from an ATM near Wilmington, leading officers to a nearby motel. By 3:15 p.m., police surrounded room 204. When Niji came out of the bathroom, he froze and surrendered without a fight. Inside the room, officers found the stolen car keys, a loaded 9mm gun wrapped in a cloth, and evidence that tied him directly to the shooting. Ballistic tests later proved the bullets matched the weapon found with him. Prosecutors charged Niji Devon Leech with 6 serious crimes, including the first-degree murder of Bolivia and her unborn son. Because the attack showed clear planning and cruelty, the district attorney announced they would seek the death penalty. At his arraignment on June 27, 2024, Niji Devon Leech was ordered held without bond. A special hearing was scheduled for August to decide whether prosecutors would pursue the death penalty. Niji's lawyers quickly filed motions, arguing about his mental health and questioning if the death penalty was fair. That hearing would set the pace for the entire trial, a process that could take years. Meanwhile, in Regalwood, life slowed down for those left behind. Bolivia's mother, Peggy, took in all 5 grandchildren into her small 2-bedroom home. She squeezed in bunk beds, found old toys, and kissed them goodnight, just as Bolivia used to. Every morning, she packed school lunches and sent them off with a hug. The community stepped in too. Businesses donated groceries and supplies. A local church raised over $47,000 in 2 weeks, and a GoFundMe page helped cover funeral costs and the children's future needs. Candlelight vigils lit up the nights as neighbors gathered, each holding a blue candle for Bolivia and her unborn son. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered even more heartbreaking details. Deleted text messages on Bolivia's phone showed tense arguments with Niji in the weeks before her death. She had asked him for honesty about his feelings and about becoming a father again. His replies were cold, filled with anger or silence. Wi-Fi records placed his phone inside her home at specific times. Forensic teams recovered bullet fragments from her autopsy and matched them to the 9mm gun found with Niji. They also found fingerprints and DNA inside the stolen Forester. Piece by piece, the calls, the videos, the broken glass, the bullets, it all told the same story. But even as the evidence grew stronger, the grief over Bolivia's loss stayed heavy in Regalwood. Friends remembered her dancing in her kitchen. Her children hugged the stuffed animals she once sewed, and her laughter seemed to echo from every corner of her old backyard. The case quickly caught statewide attention. News crews ran stories about the manhunt and the charges. Editorials argued over whether the death penalty was right in this case. Advocacy groups called for better support for pregnant women facing domestic violence. Still, one question hung in the air. How could a man who once praised Bolivia's motherhood betray her so cruelly? Detectives kept digging into Niji's past, his troubled family life, his secret online searches about disappearing across state lines, and his strange behavior before June 4th. Witnesses kept coming forward with small clues: a suspicious text, a figure seen in a blurry video, a whispered story told to a coworker. The investigation was far from over. While the legal fight continued, Bolivia's children clung to the routines their mother once built. They went to school, played with friends, and tried to smile again. But behind every smile lived the memory of the mother they would always miss. In the weeks after Niji's arrest, life in Regalwood changed again. Bolivia's mother, Peggy Blanks, became the full-time guardian of her 5 grandchildren. Each morning, Peggy woke up at 5:30 a.m., just like her daughter used to, packing lunches and driving the kids to school before juggling work and paperwork for their care. The children slept in bunk beds, squeezed into her small 2-bedroom house. At night, they whispered memories of their mom's dance parties and lullabies. Though the house was crowded, Peggy filled every corner with love. She met often with school counselors and family friends, doing everything she could to make the kids feel safe. Their new daily routine echoed Bolivia's old one, but it was missing her light, her laughter, and her warmth. On Saturday, June 15, 2024, the community came together for Bolivia's funeral at Central Baptist Church in Whiteville. Hundreds of people, friends, neighbors, even strangers, wore bright colors to honor her joyful spirit. The service was long but filled with stories of Bolivia's kindness, giving her last dollar to a friend, surprising schoolmates with backyard cookouts, and twirling under the stars. Her favorite aunt spoke about late-night porch talks. Her brother remembered her dancing barefoot in the moonlight. Tears and smiles mixed in the crowd, each memory keeping Bolivia's spirit alive. After the service, local businesses served hot meals, and a trust fund shared the news. Over $47,000 had been raised to support Bolivia's children. Meanwhile, preparations for Niji's special hearing in August began. Prosecutors filed a motion asking for the death penalty, listing 3 key reasons. The murder happened during another crime, the theft of Bolivia's car, the victim was pregnant, and the killing showed exceptional cruelty. On the first day of the hearing, the prosecutor showed the court how Niji had planned it all, from searching how to disappear to buying supplies for his escape. They showed videos, the black Subaru running a red light, Niji cutting his hair in a store bathroom, and the moment a store clerk recognized him. He tried to erase his past, the prosecutor said, but he left every clue behind. The defense lawyer argued in a calm voice, saying Niji suffered from anxiety and depression and acted under emotional stress. She asked for psychological evaluations and said the death penalty was too harsh for a man who might have been broken by betrayal. Over several days, the court heard from many witnesses: a forensic technician who matched the bullets, a crime scene expert, neighbors, a store clerk, and a cell phone tower analyst who mapped Niji's escape. Every detail added to the picture of what happened that terrible night. After a week of testimony, both sides gave their final arguments. The prosecutor asked the judge to find Niji guilty of first-degree murder and to recommend the death penalty because of 3 key factors. The crime happened during another felony, the victim was pregnant, and the act was extremely cruel. The defense reminded the court that North Carolina rarely uses capital punishment and asked for compassion, given Niji's mental health issues. The judge listened carefully and promised to review all the evidence before writing his final report. Outside the courthouse, the streets filled with supporters wearing blue ribbons. Volunteers passed out water bottles to the crowd. In the back seat of Peggy's car, Bolivia's children clutched teddy bears, waiting quietly. They didn't fully understand the legal battle unfolding, but they knew one thing: they were waiting for justice for their mother. On the first anniversary of Bolivia's death, the community gathered in her backyard. String lights hung from the trees, and a small dance floor stood where the gender reveal party once took place. Friends and family shared happy memories of Bolivia, her laughter, her kindness, her way of making everyone feel special. The children danced under the lights, their steps a living tribute to the mother they lost. Peggy launched a scholarship in Bolivia's name at Southeastern Community College, helping students who show the same creativity, compassion, and determination Bolivia had. Today, in Regalwood, a memorial playground stands where Bolivia once camped with her kids. Blue swings sway under the sun, and a plaque reads, "In memory of Bolivia Monnique Williams, mother, dancer, friend." Her children still play there, carrying her love forward in every smile, every dance, and every act of kindness. Though her life ended too soon, Bolivia's spirit lives on in the heart of her town.